Of course, earlier this week we heard from former New South Wales Labor frontbencher Tanya Mihalek, who resigned from Labor because as a party it's gone too left and too inner city woke. Now, Tanya is the sitting member for Bankstown, and she said the values of the party she joined 27 years ago had changed to a point where she had to walk. Ms Mihalek said her personal faith was important to her, but she was the odd one out in Labor's New South Wales caucus.
In Bankstown, it's almost an 85% of people would recognise themselves as being religious. And yet this is a party, a Labor Party just simply makes a mockery of this. I was probably one of the very last and rare members of the Labor Party that was actually a person of faith. It was very, very difficult. I think I was ostracised as a shadow minister and as a caucus member because of that.
It seems Labor values are now driven by new religions like climate change. Labor's no longer the workers' party. And after all, why would a party for workers make it so hard to survive a cost of living crisis made worse by Labor policies, which are actually keeping inner city rich elites happy? Hardly Labor values. Labor's turned its back on the workers to attract support from those who chat climate change over lattes and Chardonnay. And Labor seems more loyal to academics, job-destroying environmental activists and the rich and famous elites than they are to workers. Even the union movement, well, it's become more about power and deals for union leaders, leaving just crumbs for the workers who are actually paying the union dues. Former Labor stalwart Tanya Mihalek says Labor is no longer the God-fearing workers' party it once was. She says it's forgotten the values which once defined it. I actually think this is sad, and it probably reflects why Labor earned a primary vote of only 32% in the federal election last year. But the Liberal Party also has huge conflicts with its traditional values too. Infiltrating types have moved the broad church left, believing they can attract votes from people who, well, are never going to vote for them. Like Labor, the Liberals also suffered a decline in primary votes last year, just 38%. Unbelievable. I know a lot of traditional Liberal voters who deliberately wanted to punish their usual party of choice because they were disillusioned by a Prime Minister who'd forgotten the values which defined their expectations of their party. You see, values are important. Every brand develops core values which define and sustains it. Liberal and Labor voters expect a reliability from their party. But as Labor went woke and the Liberals seemed to follow a similar path because, well, it looked trendy apparently, many voters became dismayed and disenfranchised. The decline in political tribalism over the past decade proves my point. Multi-generational family traditions and habits of a lifetime are being broken as voters often reluctantly turn against their traditional political choice. So many Labor voters want less woke. They want to return to conservative working class values. And frankly, so do a lot of Liberal voters too. I believe the cohort of angry, disillusioned voters up for grabs right now are what could be described as blue-collar Tories. They're the types who abandoned Labor in the great split of the 1950s. It kept Labor out of office in most of Australia for decades. Blue-collar Tories, well, they're conservative. They're real workers who want to be paid a proper wage, work in a safe environment, take pride in their nation and their community, and aspire for their children to have better opportunities than they have had. They respect the rights of people to be who they want to be, but gee, they choke on woke. Beliefs, aspirations, reward for effort, pride in country, they're all values up for grabs in the political arena right now. The Liberal Party traditionally promotes the role of the individual in society, reward for effort, the equality of opportunity to ensure all who want to can participate fully in society. Success of individuals, well, it creates the incentive for other individuals to also strive to succeed. And by trusting most people will do the right thing, Liberals in government are meant to legislate less, allow greater freedom of expression and choice, tax less, have smaller, less intrusive government. But Labor, by contrast, is the party of the collective outcome. You see, success achieved by achievers is controlled by laws and taxes to redistribute this wealth to those who can't achieve at the same level. Labor means bigger government. And you see, collectives, well, they're all about disincentive. There's no need to strive because the value of all workers is actually determined by the value of the worst performing worker. You see, Labor loves creating a sense of victimhood. They dress it up as social justice and they think victims are actually going to vote Labor. So rewarding hard workers, well, that's no longer important. Australia, like the entire world, needs leaders with reliable values, consistent principles, prepared to stand for things expected by their supporters.